to Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Jay Reed, and I am so happy to see you here today. Listen, we got a great show that is lined up for you today. I believe it's a show that will inspire you and motivate you. So listen, I need everybody to grab a snack, sit back, let's talk about it, and we'll be right back. Well, welcome back. I would like for you to help me welcome my first guest. She truly has a story of redemption that I believe will inspire us all never to give up in the face of adversity. I call her sister and my friend. Please help me welcome Miss Melaney Batiste. Melaney, it is so good to have you sharing with us today.
So excited to be here.
Of course, you know, I have known you for many, many, many years.
Yes.
And I am so happy that you came today to share your story with us. So we're going to jump right into it. Those that may not know you like I do, please, let's just tell them who you are.
Well, I am Melaney Batiste. I'm a country girl from Picayune, Mississippi. The youngest of 5 girls, horrible girls. And I came to New Orleans to go to Xavier University, where I attended, got my bachelor's degree in speech pathology, a master's in guidance and counseling, and about 9 hours from a doctorate in administration and supervision.
All right. Okay.
But what people may not know is that I'm also a formerly incarcerated woman. And today I come to just tell you a little bit about my story, my journey, because what I know is that my story will be able to empower somebody who's going through the same thing, or family members that you have. My focus is basically on women.
Okay.
But before I get to that, I just need you to know that when I was going through the process of getting ready to, when I was convicted in 2014.
Okay.
At first I was gonna just fight. But I said, you know what, Lord? I think I'm just gonna ask that your will be done in this situation. And what one of my friends said to me, she said, oh, and my nickname is Mello, guys that don't know me. Mello, you don't want God's will to be done because, you know, God might want you to go to jail. Well, you know, if that's what his will is for me, then I want his will to be done, because he knows better than me at the end of this thing what that will look like. And I trust him. So,
you know, so your prayer going in was, God, let your will be done. And again, we know that all the time when we think about our will versus God's will, sometimes that can totally be different. And so it was your faith that allowed you to approach the situation from a different vantage point. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. Okay. And the thing is, because I'm this little cutesy girl, you know, I'm a former Miss Xavier University.
Come on.
You know? But guess what? I still had to go to jail. I still had to go. And so after I realized that, you know what, why not me? You know, Jesus died on the cross. And then they did send Martha Stewart. So I said, you know what, Mello? You know, we're just going to go ahead and accept this and go ahead. Was I afraid? I was terrified. You know, I'm not built like that. I wasn't built like that. But I asked God to equip me with whatever I needed in order to go through this race or this journey, and just allow myself to, whatever good had to come out of it, I knew that it was going to be good. I just knew it. I didn't know what, I didn't know how, but I knew at the end of this thing that God would be given all of the praise and all the glory.
So let's jump into the journey. So you were convicted in 2014, right? When exactly did you have to go to jail? Did that happen immediately, or was it some time lapse in between that time?
Well, I was actually convicted in 2013, if I could back up a little.
Okay.
And about 3 times I was on my way, and they called to say, well, no, you don't have to report today. So I turned around.
Something about the grace of God.
Something about the grace of God, right? So I turned around and went back home. Okay, God, you give me another opportunity, so I'm going to take it. And so that happened 3 times. So finally, Mardi Gras Day, guys. Mardi Gras Day, I think it was March 4th, 2014, is when I finally reported, right?
Mardi Gras Day.
Mardi Gras Day.
A day that's supposed to be about celebration in the city of New Orleans.
Baby, it was not a celebration that day.
All right.
It was not.
Okay. So what happened after that?
After that, I reported, of course, scared to death. Went all through the process of whatever of, getting my intake done. And I guess I was so terrified. I connected with this older woman there who kind of guided me through the process. Wow. And that was nothing but God. I knew that. Yeah. And she said, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. I can see your spirit.
Wow.
And we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Which tells us that God will always strategically place people in our paths to help get us to that next junction.
Yes, and he did
Because
that.
Again, you mentioned earlier, you said on your journey. And we understand that life is nothing but a journey.
It's nothing but a journey.
And sometimes on that journey, we never know where, we would end up on that journey.
Exactly. And moving forward, fast forwarding, about in July, I got a subpoena to testify in a trial. So I had to be transferred back to New Orleans in order to testify in that trial. And I was sent to a parish jail. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm not doing this. So I had my family go crazy calling my attorney, and it was awful. Because I was in a big, huge room with about 28 women, right? And I'm like, they told me I was coming to a federal facility, where I would wait until it was time for me to testify and then go back, to Florida, to the camp where I was initially sent. And you guys, it was something about walking in that room.
Wow.
And seeing those young women. When I tell you about 18 to 25 years of age, I said, you know what, God? It's like a light bulb went off in my head and said, this is not even about me. This is not about me.
That's what Oprah Winfrey would call an aha moment. So you had an aha moment.
I had an aha moment. So all those calls that I was about to make to my family to act a fool, I said, you know what? I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. And that is when my purpose was truly, truly realized.
Wow.
And understand that since I was a little girl, I've always been a person that loved to serve.
Okay.
I love people. I've always been an encourager. And people love me. My second to the oldest sister used to always say, somebody don't like Mello. They really messed up. Because Mello loves everybody.
All right.
And so I realized that I had to come in there and do God's work because that was my purpose. So every evening at 6 o'clock, I had prayer circle. They turned me into a counselor. I mean, that's my degree. So I started counseling the women there and understanding their story. But what I realized more than anything was that a lot of those ladies were violating and coming back. And I would speak to them, talk to them and say, well, why do you keep coming back? They say, because when I leave, I really don't have anywhere to go. So I started doing the same things that I was doing to get me here.
Wow.
So that's when I said, you know what? My purpose has to be to have a transitional house for formerly incarcerated women.
Wow. So
Yes.
really, Melaney, what she really experienced was a new birth while sitting in jail.
While sitting in jail.
And God developed and revealed what his real purpose
Exactly.
was for your life.
Exactly. And that's why when I asked for his will to be done in my life, I knew that that would be difficult because asking for his will is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
And the things that I went through during incarceration, I lost my mother. You know, I lost my mother. You know, he had to come to let me know that my mom had passed away. And then I found out a day later that I couldn't go to the funeral, you know, so I couldn't say goodbye. But I knew that I had taken care of my mom for 25 years.
Wow.
So I knew that God did things exactly how he needed to do them.
Yes.
And so I had to resolve myself to say, you know what? God knows what's best. He knows that I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to go to the funeral. So I was able to get myself together. Was I hurt? Am I still hurt that I wasn't able to say goodbye? Of course.
Yeah.
But I knew that God had something better for me.
So fast forward because we're running out of time, Melaney. I tell you, this is I pray that this is really inspiring to somebody because we know that there's someone else that is probably in your exact same situation.
Exactly.
So again, where are you now? What has birthed out of that?
What has birthed out of that horrible situation is the fact that, first of all, when I came home, of course, I had lost my home, I'd lost my car, I'd lost my job, all of that. But I did have a support system
Yes.
that uplifted me and allowed me to be able to, you know, eventually get back on my feet. But then when I looked at my sisters who I left inside and the people who were outside, formerly incarcerated women who had nowhere to go,
Wow.
who have no support system, who had lost their children to the system, who had no job, who had nowhere to live. I knew that if I was having a difficult time with a master's degree, I just said, well, what are people doing who don't have an education,
Wow.
don't have a support system? So I knew that I had to be about the business of helping my sisters and having a transitional house for formerly incarcerated women. So that is my trajectory right now.
Man, that's great. And again, you know, God has a way of always putting us in positions in our lives on this journey,
Yes.
again, where our real purpose that he has for us is birth.
Yes.
And so, Melaney, we're excited about your future. We're
Thank
excited
you.
about what is in store for you. So listen, if, formerly incarcerated women want to get in contact with you, how would they do so?
Okay, these are my social media pages, and also my number is 504-909-2159. And people always ask me, why do you give out your number so freely? Because I want you to be able to call me, and I answer my phone. I don't just say that, you know, just to be saying it. I answer my phone, and people that know and love me know that that is who I am, because I'm going to do everything I can to be the best, to help you bring the best version of yourselves to be a success.
Wow. Thank you so much, Melaney,
Thank you.
for coming and sharing your story with us. And I know that you have been inspired by this great story. Melaney, we look forward to what you're getting ready to do.
Thank you.
And again, make sure if you are in that situation, or if you have a family member in that situation and they live in the New Orleans or surrounding areas, make sure that you reach out to Melaney Batiste. Thank you so much, Melaney, for
Thank you
sharing
so
with us
much for
today.
having me. I
Listen,
appreciate you
stay right
guys.
where you are. We're going to be right back with more great stories to tell.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about all the things that make us so happy. Let's talk about it. I really want to talk about it.